Noswaith Sudaki Heno. This week, as Wales basks in this glorious sunshine, our children celebrated the start of their summer holidays, and we began welcoming increasing numbers of visitors to our beautiful island. And I'd like to start this evening by expressing my thanks and gratitude. A huge and heartfelt thank you must go to the heads, the teachers, support staff, and council staff who have kept our schools and classrooms open over these past few months. This has been a really tough time for schools, staff, and pupils. You've put so much effort into ensuring that our children have been safe whilst at school and that their education has continued when they've been at home. Your work has been invaluable, and I hope that you'll have the opportunity to enjoy some well-deserved time off over the summer. Diolch yn fawr. Throughout the pandemic, few sectors have been impacted more than the hospitality sector. Despite enduring months of forced closure, pubs, restaurants and cafes have rallied to support communities and have made Herculean efforts to protect those most vulnerable to this terrible virus. The weeks ahead are crucial for the sector, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank once again our island's hospitality businesses for all that they've done and to wish them all the luck that they deserve for the weeks and months ahead. I know how much effort has gone into making businesses safe for their staff and customers, and whenever possible, I encourage all of you to take every opportunity to support these businesses that have contributed so much during times of such hardship. One of Anglesy's major attractions is its vast array of fabulous places to dine. Indeed, Mon Mam Cymru's culinary landscape is now the envy of the UK. We should all be hugely proud that most of our island's venues are supplied by local farmers, and I've no hesitation in stating that our island's farmers produce some of the finest, if not the finest, produce in the world. I meet regularly with farmers across Anglesey so that I can better understand how I can support them effectively in Parliament and to discuss the issues and concerns that they face. I've spoken previously in this weekly update about my campaign to improve legislation around the issue of livestock worrying, and presenting this bill was the next step to improving the lot of farmers who suffer from dog attacks. I recently went to meet Tecwyn Jones at his farm in Bededen. Earlier this year, Tecwyn suffered a horrific attack on his sheep, which resulted in the deaths of 7 pregnant ewes and 3 rams in his fields. The animals had been killed by an unknown dog or dogs in what police described as a brutal or horrendous attack. I heard firsthand from Tecwyn about the impact the attack had on his business and his well-being, and he told me about the awful moment he found the sheep coming across one carcass after another, their faces torn, their bodies twisted, and his account of the event was harrowing, to say the least. The dogs that carried out the attack have never been identified, and even if a dog had been suspected, the police have no powers to identify and seize it unless it's found unsupervised at the scene of the assault. And for Tecwyn, the financial loss reached thousands of pounds, but he also suffered the emotional loss of these prized animals which he'd put his time and devotion into rearing. Tecwyn is, of course, not alone in this experience. This is a huge issue for farmers right across the UK. Livestock worrying takes place when dogs which are not being kept under proper control attack or chase livestock, and in particular sheep. Whilst attacks are not officially recorded, and it's widely accepted that many incidents go unreported, it's estimated that around 15,000 sheep are killed by dogs each year. And with the increase in visitors to the countryside during lockdowns, incidents of livestock worrying have grown over the past 18 months, and the financial impact has increased. Data from the National Farmers Union, the NFU, suggests that the average insurance claim for attacks is over £1,300, and some claims rise to tens of thousands of pounds. The recently announced Animal Welfare Kept Animals Bill addresses dog attacks and livestock worrying, giving the police greater powers and expanding the scope of the species covered. But whilst I welcome its content, I share the concerns of farmers and police that it does not go far enough. And so earlier this week I presented my first 10-minute rule bill to the House of Commons, called A Bill to Amend the Dogs Protection of Livestock Act 1953. The 10-minute rule bill I presented in Parliament this week proposes that the police be given the power to seize a dog and to take DNA samples where there are reasonable grounds for suspicion that the dog has worried livestock. It also contains a clearer and tighter definition of the phrase close control, which is used in both the Kept Animals Bill and the 1953 Act. And my bill would make it a legal requirement that dogs must be on a lead when they're near livestock of any kind. And finally, my bill would remove the maximum fine that can be placed on the owner of a dog that worries livestock. The upper limit is currently £1,000, but by removing this would ensure that irresponsible dog owners realise the full financial impacts of their actions. I'm a dog owner myself, as are most farmers, and none of us wants to see dogs destroyed or owners made to suffer. By their very nature, pet owners and farmers almost universally care deeply about animals. We know that in many cases, the dogs that carry out livestock worrying will be otherwise lovable and good-natured family pets, which run away from their home or are allowed off the lead on countryside walks. It's vital that dog owners who live near or visit land on which livestock is being raised understand that. Even without physical contact, sheep can die or miscarry as a result of the distress and exhaustion caused by a dog chase. And by raising the penalties for livestock worrying and making the regulations clearer, I hope that my bill will highlight the problem of livestock worrying and be used to educate dog owners. I'd like to end by saying that next Friday, the 30th of July, between 5 and 7 o'clock, I'll be holding my first physical surgery in Rosnega Village Hall. And if you live locally and have a concern you need help with, or you want to let me know about local success stories, heroes, events or businesses, or you just want to say hello and introduce yourself, then please call my office on 01407 644 645. That's 01407 644 645, or drop me an email to my parliamentary email address, which is virginia.crosbie.mp@parliament.uk, to book a slot. And if you've got a venue around the island that you think would be a great place for me to hold a surgery, then please do get in touch too. So that leads me to say I hope that you're all able to enjoy the weather this weekend. Penwythnos da I chi. Have a good weekend.